Well, here it is, all test assembled. So many of these pieces looked exactly the same that it took me almost an hour and a half just to test assemble it. But that's always a good idea, because there was a couple of pieces that needed sanding here and there to make them fit. And now it's all going to fit real nice. So I'm going to glue it up, and then the next step will be to level out the board. Alrighty, and here's the fretboard all glued up. It's looking kind of cool already. And the first thing I'm going to do to level it is I'm going to take this Dremel with a sander disc on it, and I'm going to grind down the big stuff. Now I'm not going to let this thing touch the fretboard, because I don't want any nicks in the fretboard that are going to cause me problems, and then I'll have to sand it down farther and stuff. But there's this piece of wood up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's sitting up very far above the binding. And the stone all the way down the neck is sticking up, I don't know, probably a good 1/10 of an inch. So I'm going to use this to grind that down just to get it close. And then we're going to go to the traditional method, which is with using a radius block. So let's do this first, and then we'll get to the next step. Well, there you have it. I've ground down just the planet Mars here. Now there's probably just a little bit sticking up over the fretboard, which we're going to sand off in the next step. Normally I would be using suction to suck up all this dust, but I want you to, you can see all the sawdust it's creating. I wanted you to see, what I was doing and be able to listen to me talk about it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, grind that, take this down the next step. And I got to go ahead and do all the stone pieces, and that took me about 5 minutes to do. But you can see this. This stuff does take a while. Anyway, let's go on, and the next time you'll hear from me is when we're using the radius block. Alrighty, all the rough spots have been taken off. You can see I've generated a big bunch of dust. Just put my Dremel away, and now I'm going to take. This is a radius block. You can kind of see the radius there. And I just have regular old sandpaper, fairly heavy grit. This is 60 because I want to take this down fairly fast. I'll be using lighter grit sandpaper later, and it's just stuck on there with 3M all-purpose spray adhesive. Once again, I'm not condoning this product, I just use it. Anyway, what we're going to do here is it's a real simple process at this point. You just put it down. And you scrub, and you scrub, and you scrub, and you scrub, and you scrub till it's flat. And since this, well, not flat, you scrub till it goes down to that radius. Now, by the way, people always ask me where I get these from. I make them myself. No, I don't want to sell them. They're not worth me making to sell. But a lot of companies sell them, like StuMac and stuff. So. Definitely you can do anything like this, you need one of these. So I just keep scrubbing. Now it's very important because you oftentimes scrub harder on one side or another. It's just kind of a human trait. So from time to time, I will flip the guitar around and attack it from the other side, so I can make sure that the pressure stays even on all sides. And once again, normally I would have dust collection going on here and a mask on, but I want to be able to talk to you. And I'm going to this does take a while. This process here probably takes me 15 minutes. So, and it's 15 minutes of a lot of huffing and puffing. This is the part that's very manual, and we'll come back as soon as we got a lot more of it done. And there is the radius fretboard. Looking very, very cool. And what I had to do here at the end was use a radius gauge, which is right here. This one actually has 4 different radiuses on it, and the one I'm using is 12, which is right there at the bottom. And what you do is you go there and you put it down and you look for gaps all the way along, especially over the inlays. Make sure that it's been radiused back correctly. Okay, now we have our last step, which is reopening the fret slots. And that's usually I do that with a fret saw, but I can't really do it with a fret saw, and I just noticed that I just missed a little bit of the sanding of the plant, and I'll fix that in a minute. But this should be pretty close to the last step. And so what I got to do here is, because that's how I get my shells so like they're all connected, is they're actually connected. But you can't leave it that way, because then you can't get the frets back on. So what I need to do, usually I just take a fret saw and just slice through it again. It's a pretty easy job. This isn't going to be so easy because I got bindings on. Fret saw would go all the way across and cut right through the binding. So I can't do that. So this is now what I'm doing is I have a very small, tiny little bit in my Dremel here. You probably can't even see the tip of that thing. This is a 0.22, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this very, very carefully and grind through the inlay to open up the fret slots again. Just like that. Is it easy? No. Does it work? Yes. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll kind of be ready to start getting ready to prep this thing and get it grain filled and final sanded and all the rest of the stuff. And then I get to do that really cool stain job I've been promising you guys. So I'm going to get started on this, and I'll see you guys when it's all done.